Welcome to beautiful Grants Pass, Oregon. My name is Trazia, and I'm your host on Tea with Trazia. Today we'll be talking with my friend Barbara, who is a creative genius in my estimation. We'll be exploring how she uses creativity to make connections and create the sacred collaboration of community. So I'm here with Barbara, one of the most creative friends I have. I enjoy her energy so much. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning.
We're talking a little bit today about creativity, the creative process, and collaboration, and how this becomes a sacred vehicle for our lives. And I couldn't think of anyone better to share that conversation with than Barbara. So Barbara, can you tell us a little bit about how you create your, how you express your creative energies?
First of all, I believe that I think a lot, and so my own thinking entertains me greatly. Sometimes so much that I'll follow a pathway on an idea that I have, and I have a lot of stimulation. Friends and others stimulate me a lot, and so usually that's the seed of where something comes from.
Cool. So what are some of the manifestations of that?
Well, about 10 years ago, one of my favorite happenings was I was in a women's group, and I had a very large djembe drum sitting to the side, and I'm a musician, and everyone looked at the drum and said, "Oh, please, play the drum," and I went, oh, you guys, come on. Oh, play the drum. So I take this large drum, which is made out of a log, and I take my hand and I strike it, and an amazing tone comes out of it. And at that time, a woman jumped up and left the room, and we all looked at each other, and I followed her into the room where she went, and several of us did, and she was crying. And I said, "What's happened?" And she said, "The sound of the drum opened for me a feeling that I have and some very sad things, and I didn't know how to tell all of you. And so the drum is so amazing, and the story I have to share is very, very dear to my heart." And I learned the power of the drum.
So in that sense, then the drum actually becomes the voice of this woman's experience.
Yes. What I came to realize with the drum is it was an opening for her to be able to release something that was energetically difficult for her. And so I saw that power, and in that power I thought, gee, this is really an amazing vehicle to be there for others. And I love others, and I love women, and I love being with people. And I just thought, the drum is so heavy. I've got to come up with a way to lighten this, yet have a beautiful drum like a djembe drum. And I went to sleep, and as I was sleeping, I had a dream, and I dreamed of a lightweight drum and of dancing with it and having it with women. And then the thought came to me, maybe you could find a gourd and make a drum.
And a gourd is?
A very large, what would we call it? I have one over here.
Okay, let's take a look at what you have here.
Well, this is a drum made of a gourd.
And you made this?
Yes, I made this.
Oh, look at the design on this. Can you come in close on this design?
This is a drum I made for my daughter Megan. It's a mermaid, and she's a swimmer, and she's beautiful. And this drum represents daughter. So this is the top of the gourd open. This is the inside of it with the bottom cut out, and I've placed resin inside of it. And so I got into the process of making drums from very large gourds. And it was quite a process to learn how to do this. Drums have been made for centuries and played for centuries by women. They're considered feminine in their nature. They represent the yin. And a drum in our family represents yin and yang, because my husband John assists me with a very difficult strength part, which is pulling these ropes down to pull the head of the drum down. He also cuts these open, and then I do all of the rest with it.
So this really does become a collaboration.
Yes, it is. And often with these drums, I make these drums with women. the concept of using the drum and playing the drum and the tone of the drum and being able to reach into the spiritual place for cleansing and peacefulness, that was the original concept of the drum, like the heartbeat. And I needed it to be lightweight because certain issues about me are not very strong, and I can carry it with me and dance. But one of the things about the drum that is so amazing with these particular drums is that a woman will pick a symbol, something that matters to them. It could be a spirit animal, it could be some kind of a symbol. They pick that ahead of time, and they're thinking of making their drum, and then we assist them to imprint the symbol on here, and this one's wood burned in. We do the finishing on the drum, and the drum becomes a personal friend, a family member to them, and it's used for meditation. And the feeling of being able to make a drum for the women that I've worked with is very fulfilling and empowering, and many women have never really had an opportunity to do something like make a drum. They look at it and they go, I could make that, and yes they can, and we've probably made maybe 6 or 8 with other women. And I say we, there's always, as my dad said, what do you have, a mouse in your pocket? But we meaning it'll be myself, John, my husband, will help cut it open, and then the women work right with it in putting their own print into it, and it becomes theirs. And it's something that you can love and you can hold, and it's just a very magical, it's one example.
It's beautiful. So what I'm hearing you say is that this becomes a kind of a sacred symbol for
Yes.
the person who's receiving it. So the creative process of bringing it to life is a collaboration, it's teamwork, it's sacred to the individual who's creating the drum alongside of you, and then it becomes a part of who they are and a part of how they express themselves spiritually.
Yes. And the most wonderful thing for me is I get to spend time with someone who I really care about. The individuals have usually earned their way, in a sense, in a relationship and are in my heart. And I do not sell the drums. The drums are not something that I make and sell. And people will want to buy them, but they're really about empowerment, and they're about joy, and they're about peace, being peaceful. Much like dancing with you, which really, the drum and dancing with you really do come together.
Yeah.
The drum is a means to open doors, many doors.
And so would you say that the dance process is also a creative process?
Yes,
for you?
absolutely. The dance process, well, the dance process started for my whole life. I danced through my life, but I didn't have formal training. Interesting story that you should be asking me soon is, how did I meet you?
It is a good story. Say on. This is how we met.
Well, I went to a women's clothing exchange.
A naked lady party.
Yeah, they called it a naked lady party. And when I was there, I was having an absolute wonderful time meeting people that I'd never seen before. And that is always a fascination for me that I truly enjoy. And this beautiful woman named Trazia, which I want to turn you this direction over here. This beautiful woman named Trazia, I said to her, what do you do? And she says, well, I teach dance. I teach Nia. I said, what is Nia? What is Nia?
Great question. So, very technically speaking, it isn't dance, although, for all intents and purposes, it is a mirror of our dance through life. The movements are designed to be useful beyond the dance floor. You know, it's great that we're here in the dance studio today. We're going to do some dancing, some Nia soon. But we don't want our workout or our movements to become so regimented that they stop at the gym door or the dance studio door. The movements should be something we can integrate into our everyday life and become aware of how it is we're moving. And so Nia is very much about moving toward pleasure, moving in joy, and moving toward the freedom of expression that's allowed when we just recognize that we are dancing through life.
And Patricia chose a very special symbol for her drum. Patty?
Because I chose the dragonfly because my life represents a lot of changes and struggles, and and joys and just many changes through life, and that's what the dragonfly represents, is change.
The opportunity to make this drum with Patricia was life-changing. It took many weeks and much thought. And how do you describe a friendship where you have a creation of a living drum? It's a wonderful thing.
We are creative beings, each with our own unique sacred expression. When we fearlessly step into our creative flow, we ignite and release others to do the same. In this, we find a connecting point, the opportunity to build and bless our communities. Marianne Williamson said, "As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give permission to others to do the same." Barbara and Patty created this connection in the shared love of drumming and drum making. I lead creative movement classes and community singing. What ignites your creative flow? How do you use it to connect with others? I want to hear your story and perhaps share it in an upcoming episode. Like, share, and follow this video series, and leave a comment or message about your sacred creative journey.